One of the most important skills in the information age is the ability to effectively evaluate information sources for trustworthiness. This can be tricky and uncomfortable at first, but in this video we'll introduce you to a good beginning strategy that can help in many cases. With experience, you'll learn about other aspects of evaluating information sources, but this will get you started. This video will introduce you to the A, B, C, and D method of information evaluation, which has us consider authority, bias, currency, and documentation. Authority. In this case, authority refers to how confident we can be that the person or organization behind the information has the training, experience, or expertise needed to be trustworthy. For example, we would like that an airplane we are flying on has been serviced by someone with the training, experience, and expertise to actually make the repairs, rather than by an airline industry economist, right? The idea, of course, is that when we rely on ideas we get from others, we want to make sure that we can trust that their conclusions or recommendations have validity within the professional community they're working in. When we talk about scholarly information sources, there are several ways authority can be conveyed. The most common way is for an author's place of employment to be listed. In this article, for example, the universities where the authors work are clearly labeled. Other indications of authority include the fact that an article may be published in a scholarly journal or in a book published at a scholarly press, or the author's credentials, like degrees or previous publications, can be listed in an author bio or in blurbs on books. Bias. Bias, of course, refers to a tendency to look at things from a particular point of view without considering others. In a very real sense, some degree of bias is unavoidable. We can only see through our own perspective. But as researchers, we need to be aware that other perspectives exist all around us and learn to work with that understanding. The problem is when authors' biases are so strong that they cannot even consider other points of view fairly. We can usually spot problematic bias when authors use very critical language when treating other people's ideas, ignore ideas that contradict their assertions, or through critical or dismissive language about other persons who think differently. Currency. Currency refers to the age of the information we rely on. Most information sources have a copyright, publication, posting date, or last updated notice associated with them, so finding this information can be pretty easy. This can be tricky with web pages, though, some of which may not have a posting date or updated notice available. Be cautious when using pages like this. Some information is like food and can go rotten through being replaced by more recent information, through being shown to be false, or even becoming illegal. For example, with updates in education laws or changes in implementation, some practices in special education that were just fine a couple of years ago may become illegal or unethical. So being very aware of the age and appropriateness of information sources is critical. Documentation. Documentation refers to information source creators acknowledging where they got their information. Generally, trustworthy sources will include documentation. If an information source does not document its sources, we should approach it with some skepticism. This isn't to say that all information sources without documentation should be rejected, but some can be problematic. Web pages tend to document their sources by including links or foot or endnotes, while in scholarly sources, documentation usually takes the form of in-text citations and reference pages or foot or endnotes. So, by using the ABC&D evaluation method, we can get a basic sense of how well we can rely on most information sources.